Good morning, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back to another trading session. Well, it is Thursday. We are approaching the end of the week. And with that, we will have some news driver, I guess, tomorrow. The PPI will eventually happen because the government shutdown on the United States just was left off. So it kind of things kind of went back to normal. So I hope you're doing well. I hope your week is getting well as well. So let's get straight to the charts and let's see what we eventually can expect from price action today. Since it already moved a lot here, but let's see if we will still have some opportunities to engage with it. So let me just take you back to the 1 hour chart. Yeah, yesterday we took a short. In fact, we took two shorts. The one ended up being a small scratch on account balance. The second one mitigated that scratch and eventually put us in profit. And yeah, during the evening and eventually during the Asia and London session, price kind of manipulated to the upside. It went to this bearish fair value gap here on a 1 hour and kind of displaced lower. It kind of disrespected the 1 hour fair value gap here as well. And so now it's offering us some sort of a bearish order flow. I believe the low-hanging fruit should be Tuesday's low here. We still have some regular trading hour session, sell-side liquidity here as well. And if we zoom out a little bit, just like this, and if we switch to the 15 minutes, you can see that these levels here, which are the premium weekly wick, they are kind of being respected with some weakness here. So price went here yesterday for 25% of it for the first quadrant, but it never closed above it. Then we displaced lower, and during this manipulation, price tried once again to cross that 25% mark or the first quadrant, but it was not able to do it and displaced once again lower, eventually retracing it and now moving once again towards new lows. So in terms of a weekly bias, in terms of a high time frame perspective, seems like price is kind of weak. So that's why I'm expecting it to go a little bit lower, eventually taking Tuesday's low, digging into the bottom of this NWOG. And if we lose this NWOG, we might see Monday's low as well. So it really depends on how eventually NQ will help on this move. So the main idea here is to find any type of short that can give us some momentum to the downside. So I believe the market already opened here. Now we'll mark the 930 candle, which is this one. And we have some sort of pre-market highs here. 8:30 open. This regular trading hour buy side liquidity, which I don't believe we will go there. And if you look here, price kind of rejected the midpoint of this NWOG. So the low hanging fruit here is Tuesday's low. I believe it's really close. So let's wait a little bit. I will not enter in a short position blindly. I would like to see some measure of buy side being taken first. I'm not sure if price will give us that buy side first. But yeah, that's what I would like to see on price, and not a straight move towards those lows. Because if we move in a one-sided way to the downside, yeah, that would be not interesting, honestly. I need to see some sort of a purge on the buy side liquidity side. So let's see. We'll just zoom in a little bit. We'll move this a little bit to my left, just to make things a little bit more cleaner. And yeah, this shaded area is the new week opening gap. Here we have the quadrants of the new week opening gap, and right now we are losing this 1 hour fair value gap, as you can see, and trying to approach this lower 1 hour fair value gap. So I believe we will go towards these lows. And now it's just a matter of how we will get there. If we will just move to the upside a little bit first, or if we will move towards those lows without a higher retrace. I really would like to see some higher moves first, and then eventually search for some sort of a purge in on the buy side liquidity. So in terms of regular trading hours, we took out this buy side liquidity here. Let's see if this is enough for price to move lower. Notice how we have a big opening range gap. So price now trying to disrespect 930 open. Let's wait a bit more, and let's see if this will eventually be a one-sided move here. So right now 930 open is being respected. we kind of rejected the midpoint of this new week opening gap. So price went from the midpoint of this NWOG to the last quadrant here, and it's really approaching Tuesday's low. There we go. So the low hanging fruit will be probably get hit. It's just a matter of a couple of minutes, and we will probably head towards that low. So the read on price so far is correct. I just would like to see some measure of buy side liquidity taken, but it seems like the regular trading hour buy side liquidity was enough for price to move towards Tuesday's low. So this shall be the first presented fair value gap here. Yeah. And just like that, we will hit Tuesday's low. So the low hanging fruit is done here. One-sided move towards the target that we were expecting. And now things got a little bit more complicated because we need to see if there's willingness to continue lower, or if price wants to just give us some sort of uh, a retrace higher. So far, the first presented fair value gap is being respected. No willingness to trade back to it. So now I want to see if price will respect bearishness, or if there is some willingness to trade higher, but I don't see anything bullish here. Price kind of respected midpoint. It's it was not able to go and retest this quadrant. So the next target should be eventually Monday's low. If price is not willing to get above the first presented fair value gap. Bearishness right from the start. Seems like we will have a one-sided market here. Our low-hanging fruit was taken right at the open. And now let's see if there's some willingness to eventually trade lower, because I can see NQ trading a little bit lower towards the new week opening gap. So eventually ES should follow. but we don't have any green candle yet. So we need to wait for it. Yeah, no chance here to get in. Market is just melting down here. Seems like NQ is in a rush to get into that NWOG as well. Good morning, Pablo. How are you doing today? Well, it's been a straight move to the downside since the open, so I have no chance to get in here. Kind of frustrating when you know the direction of the market, but you're not able to engage with it. And since I don't trade prior to the open, I was just watching this melting down. $600 sell contracts on NQ at 6 a.m. Damn, that's a heavy sell-off. That's really a heavy sell-off. Well, at this point, NQ already took money low, I believe. Yeah. It reached for the new week opening gap from the 9th of November. But ES is kind of behind NQ. If it will do something similar to NQ, it still has some room to the downside here. The only problem here is where should we enter? I will probably wait for 10 a.m. at this point just to see what the 10 a.m. Candle will do. And YM looking for a reversal on high time frames. Yeah, just let me take a look at YM. YM has been on its own world lately. So let me just check what is it doing here. Yeah, it can continue here. Not sure, but it can. But yeah, it's doing its own thing here. Relative equal highs here, a flat candle on the 4 hour. Not a flat candle, but it has a small wick. Yeah, but all these relative equal highs, so we might go to the upside in a couple of hours if we manage to respect this fair value gap. Let's get back to ES and let's wait a bit more. Well, since we already moved a lot here, I will not try to chase anything. We are already in a discount as well. Midnight open is far away from us. 8:30, 9:30. So right now we are in a discount. And let me see where equilibrium of this leg is. Yeah, it's right above the first presented fair value gap. Mm. Rebounds a little or something, yeah. I would expect a rebounce here and rebalance some at least this leg here, at least the 9:30 leg that would put some pressure here on this fair value gap. So let's see. The problem here is that NQ already managed to go for that new opening gap, new weak opening gap, and if it manages to run away from it, then ES will just move to the upside. And but I still believe ES has to go a little bit lower. I'm not sure how NQ will behave as soon as we will drive lower on ES, but yeah. Let me take a look at the regular trading session. Yeah, this was enough for ES. This buy side liquidity here. I was looking for some buy side liquidity purge, and it seems like this purge here was really enough for ES to move lower. So it kind of took out regular trading hour session sell side liquidity here. These were also Tuesday's low. And now we have this one as Monday lows. We are playing inside a bullish fair value gap. Yeah, I will wait. I will wait. I will probably not play the reversal, despite liking the way we have this trend line liquidity. But I will probably not play the reversal, and will probably wait for something like this. Let's see. I'm just more inclined for a continuation lower instead of a move higher. But let me check the daily, because we had a bullish fair value gap on the daily as well. So yeah, we kind of moved inside of it. Let me take the draws out. Where is it? High drawings. Yeah, we had this bullish fair value gap on ES. So selling here is, it's kind of hard. Yeah, I knew that as soon as we would take Tuesday's low, it would be hard for me to decide what to do. So we are now inside of the macro. We are inside of the macro, and I will wait for the 10 a.m. candle. Because if this will continue on the 15-minute, in 5 minutes we will close this candle. The 10 a.m. candle might give us a retrace inside that bearish fair value gap that we have now. And if it gives us that retrace inside that 15-minute fair value gap, we might end up having a chance to go lower from there. So yeah, I will rather wait more, 5 minutes more or 10 minutes more. So price moving inside the NWOG once again. Let's see how far it will move. So we have about 4 minutes before the 10 a.m. candle, so I will rather wait for it. On NQ, yeah, we have some relative equal lows on NQ, I believe, on the at least on the 15 minutes. So let's see if ES has some willingness to trade above the first presented fair value gap. if he has some willingness to trade above the first presented fair value gap, then I would say that we would probably take this low resistance liquidity here as a drawn liquidity, but I'm not that inclined, honestly. So 1 minute before the 10 a.m. candle starts, I would like it to eventually open higher, giving us some retrace to the first presented fair value gap and then move lower. But if we have the opposite, then it will be probably a move towards this trend line liquidity that we have here. But if we really would like to attack this trend line liquidity, it wouldn't take that long, I guess. So 10 a.m. candle, this is the open, pushing higher. Just like I would like to see. On the 15 minutes, it gave us a tap inside the 15-minute fair value gap, especially on ES. So I'm watching NQ just to see if it delivers a breaker or something like that. On ES, it seems like it will. So we have the breaker around here. Not the best fill here on the breaker, but let's see. See if we will have some follow through. We are inside a macro as well, so so let me just check for what price might eventually do here. I don't have any any projection that I like here. Yeah, will probably not work here. Harsh rejection. I mean, harsh reaction here. Yeah. Yeah, got stopped out here. Yeah, the continuation lower didn't work. It did what I would like to see, but the continuation lower didn't work. I guess it's because of the daily fair value gap. Yeah, price now really climbing to the upside. Let's see if we will have some willingness to get above the first presented fair value gap. If yes, then we will target these relative equal highs here, this trend line liquidity. Yeah, it seems like it. So let's see if we will have a closure above the midpoint of the fair value gap here. The first presented fair value gap. At this point, I can see price heading towards these all these stops here, eventually pre-market highs as well. So let's see if it has a willingness to go. It can affect out an exit of the NWOG. So let's see. So far, a nice reaction, nice push here. Let's wait a bit and see if price has some willingness to go above 930 open. At this point, I will start to see where my projections can eventually project price. So 930 open, I want to see 930 open not acting as a resistance here. So price kind of respected the quadrants of this NWOG, and it's reaching for its midpoint now. So let's see if we will have some strength to go above it or not. Let's see how price will react as soon as we hit the midpoint of this NWOG. But at this point, I would like to see price trying to push all these stops, push price towards these stops here. Yeah, not quite liking how we rejected 930 open here. Let's see if price can eventually react here at the first presented fair value gap. Yeah, NQ is pushing price a little bit towards new lows. Yeah, not the best retest here. Yeah, we'll have to close this one as well. Not looking good here. Let me just check. They went for equilibrium. Yeah. Not really liking this market, honestly. Not really liking this. Yeah, we have a rejection of the first presented fair value gap, a rejection at 930. The breaker. Yeah, at this point, it seems like um, lower we go. We kind of rejected the midpoint of the NWOG. 930 open clearly rejected as well. First presented fair value gap back to a bearish PD array. We'll wait a bit more. Let's see if price is really able to trade below here. I'm not quite sure because it's just wicking here on the 15-minute. It seems like it wants to, this bullish leg was somehow it can be a bearish order block, these two candles to the upside on the 15-minute. But yeah, let's see if there's some willingness to trade below. And not return back. So far, nice displacement here, reaching for minus 1.5. We have these lows as well. Yeah, it seems like it's bearish now. But I'm not sure because NQ already tapped that NWOG, so it can happen that it will stay here for a while. I would not like to see it, but I would like to see some follow through to the downside, eventually losing this 1 hour fair value gap as well. So it is acceptable for price to come retest this midpoint. Let's see, price really respecting this projection here. So we stopped at minus 1.5. So logically, we would go for -2, eventually minus 2.5. And stretching it a little bit more, we could eventually see Monday's low as well. But I need to see NQ eventually giving us some weakness to the downside as well. There we go. So we kind of respected this fair value gap here. We respected the midpoint of this bullish fair value gap as well. So here, right at minus 2.5, we have event horizon, which can act as a resistance on price. I mean, support in this case. So there's no point on being exposed to that all that risk. I will reduce the risk here. So price came for the order block here. We should close below this fair value gap, since NQ did not make a new low. So far, price is respecting here the order block, these two up close candles, but I would like to see the closure below these two as well. Let's see if we will have that follow through here. And you're not helping. I would like to see a new low on NQ as well. So price now reaching for -2 standard deviation. At this point, since NQ did not make a new low, I will probably have to take off 2 of those 3, mitigating some of the initial loss, and eventually expecting price to move lower. Let me just take a look at YM just to see how this is behaving. Yeah. Lost a lot of momentum as well. I just would like to see NQ delivering a lower. Because on ES we already have that order block. Now it's just a matter of how far we can go. So price now reaching for event horizon. It might react a little bit, but since we have Monday low, it should deliver Monday's low. We'll give it some time. Another bearish fair value gap here. So we reached for minus 2.5 standard deviation. Let's see if we can get some follow through towards minus 4 standard deviation and towards those lows here, Monday lows. We have to be patient with it, and let me mark the 1050 macro, which can mark the end of this bearish lag here. So at this point, NQ already reached for the NWOG's bottom. So let's see if ES has some more strength just to go for that Monday's low. Price retouching event horizon. Eventually, I want to see it reject event horizon. So event horizon is always that point in between the NWOGs. So yeah, on NQ we reached for the NWOG's low. Now it's just a matter of how bearish we are if we manage to go below it, or because on NQ we kind of tapped into event horizon once again. Price is not able to close above it so far. Let's see if the 1050 macro will give us that ultimate push to the downside just to tap Monday's low. Let me just check how many handles we are away from Monday's low. So 8 handles. It's taking too much time here. So let me check on the hourly. Yeah, I'm just checking where the midpoint of that wick is, just to see if there's some willingness to go below it, or if price wants to stop at its midpoint. There we go. So at this point, I will try to stretch my TP to the NWOG, since we are respecting the NWOGs. NQ also still heading lower. I'm just checking if there's any flat candle on NQ on the hourly. It doesn't seem like it. Almost touching Monday's low here. We'll give it some couple of minutes more. Bearish PD array still being respected here. Yeah, just a couple of handles away from Monday's low, and we started to disrespect this bearish fair value gap. Not quite what I would like to see here. Yeah, at this point, not coming for Monday's low, just for a couple of handles would be quite annoying. So we touched that untapped fair value gap here on a 1 minute. Let's see if we will have some willingness to go lower. Price kind of retraced back to minus 2.5 standard deviation. But I would not like to see it come above event horizon. I would like to use event horizon as my resistance now. Allow it to trade, do some damage with these types of wicks, but not getting an effective closure above above event horizon. There we go. So now I want to see this fair value gap being reclaimed as a bearish fair value gap once again. Give it some time. Let me take a look at YM once again just to see how it is behaving. Yeah, but it seems like it lost all its steam. And yeah, we will go lower on YM as well because we have some sort of a trend line liquidity here. So this would be the next low hanging fruit on YM. This low right here. It could eventually help ES to get a little bit lower, but I need to see some willingness from NQ as well. So back to ES. We might visit now Monday's low, and I will prepare myself to close this position. So let's see if we will have that follow through that I would like to see, and not a shy wick to the downside. He is decided to go once again for that reclaimed fair value gap, which is acceptable. Yeah, I was expecting a move a little bit lower, but price is coming inside the range once again here. Let's just see. Yeah, we are entering the 11:10 hour. So if this doesn't give us the follow through that we want, we'll have to take partials and not be greedy here. We'll probably put a hard trail here. So this should be a new order block eventually. We have this one here. We traded to the midpoint of the order block, which are these candles. We rejected rejected it right away. So I'm not expecting price to come above once again, but if it does, it will stop me out. But that's fine. What I would like to see is a move lower, because we still have Monday's low, and eventually price can eventually reach for the NWOG as well. Just waiting and squeezing this as much as I can here. And not allowing price to go wherever it wants. Just protected the position right here. Yeah. Stopped out here. Slightly break even session. But yeah, look how far we stopped from Monday's low. Kind of ridiculous, honestly. But yeah, we might go lower eventually, but it seems like price needs to go a little bit higher first, because we ended up the 11 macro, and usually the 11 after 11 we go for a retrace higher. That's why I kind of put my stop here quite quite heavily. But yeah, it is what it is, guys. So summarizing the session, and now it will go probably. But oh well. But summarizing the session, it wasn't that easy, because at some point the idea was always lower prices, the main idea. So I knew that as soon as we would take Tuesday's low right at the open, things could eventually get a little bit tricky. And yeah, it happened that it went a bit tricky. But tried the first short here right at 10 2. After price giving me that breaker around here, Um, Tried it, but got stopped right away, and I decided to, okay, if we will have some willingness to trade above the first presented fair value gap, we might go for all these stops here, because we are on a higher time frame. On the daily, we are reacting to a bullish fair value gap, so it can happen that we will just clean all these stops here. I kind of entered the long. It kind of went for my direction for a couple of minutes, and here I should have protected myself, but ended up not doing it. So I kind of closed the position as soon as I could on a retrace inside that fair value gap, and as soon as I saw that we reclaimed this first presented fair value gap as a bearish one, yeah, I knew that I was right with the idea that we would go lower, and yeah, decided to enter around here with this immediate rebalance of this wick, and then we moved lower. My first partial to mitigate the losses was around -2 standard deviation, and yeah, the rest of the position was trailed here and got stopped out with this wick that you can see here, and now we will eventually go a little bit lower. I'm not sure how low we will go, but it seems like lower prices will come if we do not hold here, especially on the higher time frames. So yeah, guys, it wasn't an easy session since we entered right away in drawdown, and whenever we start a session on drawdown, it's always tricky to mitigate that drawdown. But whenever you're in drawdown, you just have one objective, is to mitigate it, and yeah, that's what we did here. We just mitigate what we had to mitigate, and that's our main objective for the session. I could have left the position a little bit open without taking any partials, but I've done it so many times and got burned with it, that I decided to take the partials just to mitigate those losses. So yeah, and in the meantime, there we go. Monday's low. I really got stopped out here, and after I got stopped out, the Monday's low delivered. But I'm not interested in anything here lower than this here on these low time frames. So the short here was quite interesting. Entered on a immediate rebalance because I saw that price was kind of heavy, and yeah, in fact, I had an opportunity to pyramid the entry here, but since I wasn't drawdown, I decided not to do it. And yeah, I guess that's the session from today's price action and today's job. Not the best one, of course, but yeah, at least we managed to get out of drawdown and mitigate it, and yeah, put some small profits on the account. What about you guys? Have you done anything? I know that I did not talk too much on this session, but yeah, I was kind of focused and dialed in. So I apologize for that. But if you have any questions, just write them down on the chat, and I will answer them without any problems. Yeah, it seems like I'm here for 2 hours now as well. So I might end up ending the stream soon as well. Pablo, are you still there? Did you do anything? Did you take any trades today? So yeah, price is really taking a long time here. It seems like it's accumulating something here. We just have to know if smart money is preparing another move to the downside or if we will move towards the upside. But to me, it makes sense to go for a tap here on this NWOG. Yeah, seems like price will do it. Just took a long time here. 30 minutes. Consolidating here. But yeah, this NWOG is really the next draw on liquidity on ES. So yeah, guys. I guess that's it. There's not much I can do here. I still believe we will go eventually a little bit lower. But yeah, I guess that's it for today's session. Yeah, summarizing it once again. Tried a first short here at the breaker. It didn't work out. We were inside a macro after 10 a.m. But price decided to give us a Judas swing to the upside towards 9:30 open, since it wasn't quite rebalanced this leg here. At some point, I believe that we would eventually go for this trend line liquidity because we were reacting from a daily fair value gap, a bullish one. So I decided to go long here. But as soon as we start to deliver lower, I kind of closed the position here on a small loss, and then we delivered lower, entered on a short here on a immediate rebalance of this volume imbalance here, and yeah, price then moved lower. I took a partial around here at -2 standard deviation, and yeah, I got stopped out here with a hard trailing here right at this leg before not midnight, Monday's low. So yeah, guys, thank you for being there. Thank you for your patience as well. I know that today I didn't talk as much as I used to, but yeah, if you have any questions, just ask me those questions and I will try to answer them as soon as I can. Okay. Thank you very much. Stay safe. And yeah, hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you.